Okay, so it's day 3 of this painting behind me, and I can't wait to get started because I didn't get even half of what I wanted to do done yesterday. I just got started too late and then didn't have enough time. And today is the day. I'm hoping it's going to happen. And I've even gone back to the landscape scene that I was working from to check various details about foreground colours versus background colours and structural things and everything. I just stood there and looked at it. I didn't take photos or anything because the photos they don't have the feeling in them that I'm trying to generate. They just have structural details. And I was talking about how I wanted to get away from being too literal. So today the plan is to get big brush and really attack that foliage, but in a loose way, and really get the color, starting to nail down the color and the structure, but the structure through color a bit as well. So hopefully more will happen. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few days' work together in one video, because in the last video you saw one day's work that the painting hadn't changed very much at the end of the session. And I don't want to give you another video like that because I think that was a very valuable video in that it's not a very good social media type video because it's not exciting and doesn't follow the format of starting something and then seeing the finished product, if you like, at the end. But painting isn't like that, you see. It's quite often sitting looking at things in the studio, um, uh, periods where you're not making fantastic progress or anything, and can be a bit dull for other people seeing the process. But for other artists to see it presented as it really is on social media. Now, it's not presented in real time, obviously, so it's not as it really, really is, but it does give you a flavour of how daily life goes for an artist. But having said that, I don't think you're going to want to endure that for several videos in a row. So I'm going to meet you at the beginning and the end of every day, and or maybe I'll sum up the previous day before I start the next day. I don't know, but I might get to the end of the painting in this one because I set myself a rough deadline of around a week I wanted to spend on this one. It's hard to tell how long you're going to spend on something, but it was kind of to set a few constraints on myself in order to keep moving on, to be doing other work and keep learning, you see. So we might get to the end of the painting in this video, or we might not. But I've got work to do today on day 3, and I hope it goes well. Okay, I'm going to pause for lunch there, but I think it's getting a little bit more life in it. Definitely a lot more of the green coming in. It's not very joined up thinking yet. And I can't get the split complementary color scheme quite working. The orange doesn't quite work for me. But if I could get that bit there working, I feel the rest will work because it's that bit is visually creating the problem for me. I can't get it to get a decent reading of the color without turning it way down. So I hope this works. But the color has improved considerably, hasn't it? And some of the brush work I like. I'm absolutely wrecked. So I think this is sort of near the end of this session. Oh, and it's gone all bright again. But yeah, so some bits I'm happy with. And it got better as I started straying slightly from my color scheme. I'm still kind of, in the general area of those colors, but straying further away on either side of the color wheel from them. And that helped. Okay, so it's actually easier to see up closer on this camera, I think. Um, I have to get the strength to clean my brushes now, and then rest up, and then tomorrow, I've kind of got the color figured a little bit better, but I have to stop it being too busy tomorrow, and with too much happening, and the literal thing being too literal. I still want to escape that a little bit. So I don't want it to be like an illustration of a scene. So there's still loads of issues to figure out with it. But I did enjoy myself today. It was very high energy, and that's why I'm so wrecked. And we'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. It's teetering on the edge of I don't know what, either being a good painting or not being a good painting. I don't know which. We'll see. Hello, the start of day 4, and day 3 ended with me doing an extra session in the evening and worked for quite a long time and thought I was doing great. And then at the end of the session, I looked and I said, I hate the way that looks. It doesn't look at all the way it looked when I was right up close working with it. So I'm rethinking again, and today I think is going to be the make or break day, because I'm sort of in my mind I'm saying, okay, I'm at the 3/4 stage now because I'm only giving myself a week on this one, but I think I've gone too far towards the literal direction again, and it's going kind of a bit cheesy looking. Um, and I wanted to escape literal interpretation in this one. And you see, the thing is, I can do all the literal stuff in um, this piece if I want, because I have another small piece, so I can satisfy my literal urges in this one in a very just do a naturalistic, uh, a realist painting, But this one, I wanted to be more experimental. I didn't want it to be totally abstract. And I put loads of constraints on myself, and the constraints are coming off one by one. So I don't know whether that constraint will go as well or what. Constraints are good to work with, though, uh, give you some sort of direction in the middle of this not knowing what to do. So, if I had a phrase for today, day 4's phrase will be less is more. So what I want to do in this less is more is go back to more simplicity. And remember, I said in previous videos that this area here I liked. I'm going to be looking at that closer and working on it today. And then I have a problem to fix as well. That's just a technical one about oil paint sinking, which is just the oil sinking back into a previous layer and taking some of the juicy look out of the oil paint so that it looks very matte and just unpleasant. So I have to get a lot more oils like linseed oil, for example, and I'm going to be using copal varnish. I was using Damar not very successfully yesterday. So it's going to be a little bit of jiggling around with the oils as well. But simplify, less is more. Let's see how it goes today. I'm hoping today will be a good session and will make rather than break. We'll see. Okay, so here's the new thing that's happening. I'm losing the weir on this side and establishing the bank running straight along the painting. But I'm keeping my cows. I love my cows, so I'm going to have them peeping through the foliage in the back. I hope they can stay. I'm very attached to my cows. Okay, so that's the end of day 4. It's the morning of of day 5 and did a lot of work yesterday, but I'm squeezing in an extra session this morning because I still wasn't happy with the color balances, and I'm sort of working more areas into it that are hopefully going to balance it a little bit more. We'll see. I still have places I can bring it. Okay, so it's now day 6 on this thing, although it's really my 7th session because I started it on the live stream. But that makes it my last day because I said I wasn't going to spend more than a week on it. And I got about an hour on it yesterday before I had to do other things. But it wasn't too bad what I did yesterday. But today it's going to be a lot of work because I'm going to try and bring it to completion today. So we'll see if that happens. And if it doesn't feel finished, it's still going to be something I'm going to put away and leave it a few months to dry and come back and look at it again and see if I feel that it was a completed picture and whether it's a success or not. I might have a sense at the end of today whether I achieved anything I wanted to achieve. But I want to get started now, okay? Here I go. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there. That big blob of very bright Venetian yellow I put in the middle of the water in the front is very extreme. But I'm thinking a few months' time when it dries, I'm going to glaze that down very, very slightly. But not very much, but it's so thick now that I don't want to move it around. I think moving it around will destroy it. But it made me lift some of the other highlights up in a way that I think they needed to be. But I'm happier with it than I was, and I like parts of it. I'll just show it a bit closer because it's really hard to film the colours in it, you know. It almost films better from an angle. But I like some of the colours which got a little bit richer. Got a little bit richer towards the end. And that kind of veiny, lacy network of the texture, which only happened, it wasn't a planned thing, it only happened because I needed to put the paint on that way. I don't know why I need to use palette knives so much recently, but maybe it's just I'm struggling with colour and I'm having to load on layers and layers of colours. But this is a very difficult one as well because there were layers of both form and colour on top of each other, each one a different thing happening. So it was a very difficult scene. And that's why I was trying to tackle it in a non-literal way. And it went back towards a literal kind of a narrative. It is a figurative painting, clearly, but it's not literal. You know what I mean? It's not like exactly the way the thing looked. It's got something of the feeling I wanted. So I guess I should be sort of happy about that. I'm sure there are lots of problems with it when I look at it. Over the next few months, you know, I'll really find out how I feel with it. It's when you live with the painting, you start finding out how you feel about it. And yeah, if I still have enthusiasm for it in a few months, I think I will glaze it because I've done that with these kinds of impastoed paintings before, and I've got even more depth into them in a very pleasing way and being able to modify colours. So I hope I remain interested enough to do that in a few months. But I'll put it on the wall in my bedroom when it dries a little bit more.
and just live with it for a few months. So that's it for the moment, a week of painting on this painting, and it's sort of finished.